Hey y'all, it's Katrina with Faith in Loops Crochet. Welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad to be able to share what happens in my crochet journey. I wanted to take a minute today to talk about how my crochet journey started and give you a little bit of information about myself and then what goals I have set for my 2025 year. Just to kind of start where it all began was in 2023. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, or MS for short. It was very traumatic for me. I've been a serial crafter my entire life. Whenever I was little, I used to do plastic canvas, and I've done some sewing, and I've done, diamond art painting, and I used to make cornhole bags. I mean, I've done a little bit of everything. So a couple years ago, I decided to start quilting. So I had the whole setup. I had, I was doing the free motion quilting and quilting the pieces and all that. And I was set down. I actually have 23 lesions on my brain and one on my spine. And the one on my spine, whenever I was diagnosed, was a new lesion, and it was very active lesion, and it was something that was continuously active, so it was creating damage, and I couldn't get up anymore and do the tugging and the pulling of the quilt and the getting up and ironing the pieces and everything. So it was very upsetting for me, but I had to get rid of all my quilting stuff. And I was set on the couch. I had to go everywhere with a cane. If I'd done anything more than 20 steps, I was wore out. If I had to go anywhere, like say Walmart or, just the dollar store, oftentimes I wouldn't go into the dollar store. I'd send my kids just because I couldn't handle the steps. And if I went to Walmart, I had to have a scooter. There is something very humbling and an experience to have your kids push you around in a wheelchair in Walmart because you can't do it anymore. So, with that being said, I was having trouble, doing the mom and wife duties that somebody typically does. The cooking and the cleaning and, all these things that you probably currently take for granted, because I know I did. And it was something that I was set down. Couldn't do all those things anymore. And I felt very, I was starting to get depressed, like we all do, and a lot of people do in the situation I was in. So I was scrolling around on Facebook one day, and I seen a little crocheted bunny, and I was like, "That's so cute." So I clicked on it, and I started looking through some of the stuff that they had on there, and there was a dog, and there was a giraffe. There was all these cute little things. And I had done, like I said, I was a serial crafter, so I had actually done some crochet before. I had some crochet hooks and everything like that, and I was like, I wonder if I can do that. So I had never actually read a pattern before, so I didn't know how to read a pattern, so I had to teach myself. And there was one particular video I found on YouTube, and I will link that below. Elise's crochet. She had a cat ball, and sorry, she had a cat ball pattern, and I was like, if I can do this, then I can probably make something else. So I made a cat ball, and hold on just a second. I'm going to go get that cat ball. Hold on. Okay, so I found it. So this is the pattern. This is the little cat ball that I've done. This was the first one I done. And it turned out, I was happy with the way it turned out. I had to go ahead and order some stuff, and I was like, okay, but it took me forever to do. So I had plenty of time for those to come in from Amazon. So I was like, okay, so I kind of understood how to do it. So I started to make some other stuff. So, my daughter is really into snails, my oldest daughter. So I was like, I'm going to do a snail. Now, this one's kind of laughable. The stitching's pretty good, but it doesn't stand up. This one right here, and you can tell like it's all like not stuffed good enough at all. And the eyes are all wonky. She loved it. I wasn't completely happy with it, but it was one of my first projects. It's not too bad. I mean, the stitching's still pretty good. Even if it's not stuffed all the way, the stitching's still pretty good. So that was one of my first projects. You can even see, I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the magic ring is something that lacks desire right there. So I decided to use, I wanted to go ahead and go into the blanket yarn and try it out. So I did. And this poor thing, it's lost an ear. It's lost its face. I used eyes that were too small for it. One of the ears is gone. It came off because I didn't do it tight enough. The holes are pretty good in it, so it's lost its eyes and everything. And so I was like, okay, I can't use blanket yarn. I can't use anything like that. So I decided to go back to the worsted weight, to the acrylic yarn, and try some other stuff. So I tried this. It's not supposed to be this big. The pattern isn't this large, and it's not exactly supposed to look like this, but I tried the detailing and everything like that on this one. Pretty happy with the way this one turns out. I mean, the limbs move and everything. I was still developing my skills. So the wings, the back. Stitching was pretty decent, though. I must say I did pretty good about not having holes in it or anything like that. So I decided I wanted to step it up again. So I decided to do something that was just bright and out there. So I did this one. And this one I'm really proud of. I think she turned out great. And even today, I think she still looks good. She is bright colored. My daughter wanted bright colors, so I did a bright colored one. I used all Big Twist value. So I think she turned out really good, and she's been worn and loved, and she still looks good, so I'm happy. So I think she turned out pretty good. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try blanket yarn again. I was like, I really wanted to use blanket yarn because I've seen everybody else using it. And the acrylic, yes, it's great, and you get a lot of the good details, but it's just, it's rough. It is a rougher product. Can you get the details? Yes. But it's not as cuddly as blanket yarn. So I decided to go ahead and go back to blanket yarn. And I did each one of my kids a giant pillow for Christmas. Now, this was in December of 2023. So I think she turned out pretty good. This pattern is actually by Wonder Crochet. And it's a free pattern. I think it's on her website. I'll link it below. I'm not sure if it's on Instagram, but I know it's on her website. She's got a lot of free patterns. So I did each one of my 3 girls one of these. This is with the rougher, sparkly Bernat blanket. And the sparkles aren't coming out, but that's what it is. And it was a rougher yarn. And I was like, I'm not sure if this is the yarn for me. But I was still honing in my skills, so I went back to the acrylic yarn, and my skills started getting better and better, and a little bit better. So I don't have a lot of my newer products because I found my love, which is Sweet Snuggles Light and Chanel Home Slim. If you've seen any of my videos, you know that those are my. I'm a Sweet Snuggles girl and Chanel Home Slim. Hopefully they don't change it, but that's what I love to work with, above all else. So I had found a purpose. I had found something that fulfilled me and something that was going to help me get through. And it was truly my therapy. It was something that I feel that honestly God blessed me with, to be able to get me through the hard times. Hence the name Faith in Loops, because during that time frame in my life, it was through faith in God and loops of crochet that got me through it. So I was starting to build up quite a bit of stuff on the shelf, and my husband's like, you should start selling it. I'm like, nobody's going to buy it. Nobody's going to buy it. You know, like they're just not. They're not going to buy it. So I started posting more and more pictures online of the different stuff I was doing. And I had worked, and I don't have an example of it because I sold it, was a possum. And I just thought it was so cute. And I'd like to give a shout out to Drinkard Crochet. I watched every single one of her videos, and I literally took notes on her videos in the beginning. And I just want to give her a shout out and a personal thank you, because she doesn't know what she did for me. And maybe now she will after she sees this video, if she watches it. But she had a possum on there, and I decided to do it. And I was like, okay. So I done it in the Sweet Snuggles regular and the Sweet Snuggles Light, and the one in the Sweet Snuggles regular. A friend of mine that lives in North Carolina seen it, and she's like, I want that. I want that. How much is it? So I told her how much it was, and I sent it to her, and that was my first sale. So that's how my logo became a possum, because that was my first sale. And I decided that I was going to start a business. I didn't know if it was going to go anywhere. I just thought that markets would be fun, maybe here and there. It was something that would get me out of the house, and I could just sit there. And I didn't have to like get up and run around or anything. I could sit there, and I had the full support of my family, which is an absolute blessing. My husband goes with me and helps me set up, and my kids are right there with me. So I was like, okay, I can do this. And it's something that made mom happy and helped her through it. So they decided to, they were all on board with it. So moving forward, I ended up doing 7 markets last year. In the middle of last year, I was given a new medication to try. And that new medication gave me my leg back. So I was actually able to walk, and I didn't have to use a wheelchair or a cane. And I feel like I'm back to normal. With that being said, 2025 holds a lot of cards for me, because I no longer have the hindrance of, waiting for somebody else's schedule to meet where I can go to market. I can do it my own. I can pack that table. I can pack the vehicle. I can do it all myself now, which is an absolute blessing. And I'm thankful for every day that I have. So my goals for 2025 are, first, I want to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That is something that I'm really gearing towards. I am almost halfway there. I'm like almost halfway there. I got about 40 some subscribers to get halfway there. I want to build up my Instagram. I would like to have at least 250 followers on Instagram. If you haven't followed me on Instagram, please do so. I'll link it below, because I'm trying to get that count up a little bit. And I would also like to grow my Etsy account. I have some listings on there. I think I've made like 15 or 16 sales on there. I would like to get at least 100 sales. I do like to do the custom orders, and I like, people to be able to kind of pick out and choose what they want. So that's one of my goals, is to have at least 100 sales on there. My husband wants me to write a pattern. And I'm not so sure I'm ready for that, but we'll see. I might try it out a little bit. I got a few thoughts running in my head of things I haven't seen on the market. Do I know if I'll accomplish it? No, I do not. It is on the list of possibilities, though. So that I would like to do at least 10 markets this year. So I have 4 goals. One is 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, 250 followers on Instagram. I would like to have 100 Etsy orders, and I would like to do at least 10 markets. As far as financial goals, it's kind of hard to set financial goals whenever I've only been in business 1 year. So as far as financial goals, I would like to do about one and a half times what I did last year. And I don't really like to talk about numbers on here as far as exactly what I make. I just feel that's kind of private for me. And I'm very thankful for people that do, but at this time I don't really want to do that. I feel like it's a little bit too personal, and I'm sorry for that. But yeah, that's what I'm so happy and excited for 2025, and I hope that you all will follow me on my journey as I talk about different things that happen in 2025. So please like and subscribe. If you've listened to me rattle and you've listened to me talk about, my start in the crochet journey and a little bit of what my first things were, thank you so much. And I do hope you have a wonderful and blessed day, and God bless.